So guys, who are the Godfathers of Nerd Rock? Do you know? Let's take a look. So the other day I was thinking, you know what? Who are the most sort of nerdiest, geekiest rockers of all time? And of course, I was like, it's Devo. It's got to be Devo. And I looked it up, and sure enough, they are often cited as the Godfathers of Nerd Rock. Is there such a thing as nerd rock? I guess there must be, because Devo is called the Godfathers of Nerd Rock. And I remember clearly back in the day on MTV when Whip It Good, when that came out, I was like, who are these guys? I was shocked and awed. Shock and awe with nerddom, geekgasm, basically. And I just loved the song, but I didn't really think much about, in terms of the geekiest, the nerdiest. So through their evolution, or should I say their devolution, right? Because it's Devo. Their name is for devolution, devolution. So what is their sort of criteria for being the Godfathers of rock? Well, first and foremost, of course, their philosophy. So unlike bands that sing just about, say, video games and, nerdy, geeky stuff, sci-fi, they created a theory, this really solid theory called devolution. They argue that instead of evolving, we, as humanity, we're regressing into a herd-like robotic state. And that's why they got sort of that look. Their uniforms. So they use those yellow radiation suits, the sort of hazmat suits, the energy dome hats. Gotta love those hats, right? And the stiff synchronized movements. This was a deliberate rejection of the typical cool rock star, right? So instead of like Mick Jagger running around, or Prince or Michael Jackson sort of, doing dance moves cool and smooth, they're like kind of like robots, like, us, whip it, like that. Okay. So then they have sort of a punk scientist label. Now, the co-founder, Gerald Casale, once noted that while other punks, because I guess they consider them very evolved from punk rock, were looking back to the 60s for their anger and angst, Devo were true punks because they were punk scientists and hated everyone for being too weird and intellectual. So the fans, even though they liked them, the ones that didn't like Devo were like, oh, you're too weird, you're too nerdy, you're too intellectual. Again, it comes back to what? The Godfathers of Nerd Rock. So I don't really know. I mean, I love them. I don't know how anyone could not. I mean, just Whip It and several other songs, really good music. And then finally, to kind of put that dot on the I and really underscore it, was their technical gear. Right now, this is really important. It goes with the music, of course, and they were early pioneers. Devo were pioneers of early synth and electronic drums, and they would often modify their own equipment for that, do-it-yourself mad scientist approach. So I guess they would get, pro synthesizers, pro equipment and gear, but then they take that and tinker. And as we know, I know I love to, but all my really geeky, nerdy friends, they're the ultimate tinkerers. They can take something and they can make it better or worse. No, they can certainly make it different and evolve it. So the real funny part, right? The real great part is that devolution, devolving, took things, their gear, their actual musical gear, and evolved them more. Right, there you go. So what do you think? Are they the Godfathers of Nerd Rock? I know for me, they're at the top. Now, you can look at others. They might be giants. That's a great nerdy group. Weezer's great. I think Weezer and Devo are almost close. Weird Al Yankovic, even Rush. I love Rush, very nerdy, geeky. But I'd say maybe Weezer is close, or, the same level nerddom as Devo. So what do you think? Give us your thoughts. Give us your feedback. Hope you enjoy. Hope you're subscribing. See you soon.